I'd like to share a quick story with you guys that happened a few weeks ago. Now, in my last video, I shared that I went to a stag recently. A week later, I went to the wedding, and I was asked to give a speech. And I've always had a fear of public speaking, and I've kind of avoided that area or domain, and I just haven't put myself in a position where I need to speak publicly, other than this YouTube thing, but it's a little different hiding behind a camera. So my best friend, other than my wife, my best friend, he was getting married, and we've been friends forever. Like, I've known him for 30 years, and he was the best man at my wedding. He gave a speech. So I have always had it in the back of my mind that one day I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to give a speech in front of all these people. And even though I know a lot of them, and I grew up with like his family and everything, it's still this like fear that I've had. And I've created a story in my mind to perpetuate that fear. Like at least once a year, I would say on average, it would come up, and I would dread it. And then when my mind would play stories like maybe I won't be friends with him when he gets married, or maybe he just won't even get married, or maybe he just won't ask me, something will happen. Like all these, like, just any way to get out of it. But, kind of out of nowhere, he ended up proposing, and they were having a quick wedding. And so it really came out of nowhere. So, this thing that I've been dreading for so long, and sure enough, he asked me, and oh yeah, no problem, I can do it. And, just building it up in my mind. And even the day of, like, I was talking to another buddy who was a fellow groomsman, and he's like, I was telling him that I'm nervous to give this speech. But then in actuality, I wasn't really nervous. It's something that I've told myself for so long, so I associate those words with that environment or me giving the speech. But it's not how I actually truly felt. So I ended up giving the speech, and it went fine. It was actually fun. It was actually like, my mind creates the worst possible scenario, but it was actually pretty enjoyable doing it. And and then after, I went and sat back down. And the next guy was giving his speech, but my mind was like, it was trying to like understand or fill that void that was there, because I didn't have this thing looming over me anymore. Like, I'd given the speech, and that's it. And then my mind would try to make sense of it, and it was like, did that even happen? Is the speech even, did it even exist? It's like, technically no, because right now is the only thing that exists. And then the future, like, I'd have that going on one side, and then in the future it'd be like, well, I don't have that to look forward to now or dread anymore. It's like, well, what else can I latch on to that'll, like, take me out of the present moment? And there was nothing. So I had these like two engines running simultaneously, and it was like very distracting. I couldn't even tell you what the guy's speech was about, the next guy, unfortunately, but I was trying to like bring it back to the center, and these two things were running, and then finally they just like fell away, and then I was left with the present moment, and I no longer have that looming over me. There's nothing to fear. I've never really liked being the center of attention in groups, and I kind of shut down when that happens. And then in the last few days, like, this was 2 weeks ago, the wedding now, but in the last few days I've really noticed my attention is going to really saying how I feel. It's really important to share how I feel in the moment, instead of just giving the answer that I've always given. And that answer that I've always given, there's a good chance it's not going to represent how I actually feel. There's a wide range of feelings I could express in the moment. Those stories of how I always felt are just, a one-off. So there's a pretty high chance that it's not going to match. So, anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to share. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.